Welcome to the Game Informer Show, a weekly video game podcast releasing every Thursday. I am your host, Alex Stadnick, and as always, I'm honored to be joined by the one, the only, Alex Van Aken. Hello, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me, Alex. How are you?
I am so good. I would have called you illustrious, but I wanted to go with something different today.
No, it's fine. I did want to start the show off and say if there's anybody out there affected by what's going on in Ukraine, you have our support. You're in our thoughts.
Yeah, 100%. I nothing but love to the Ukrainian folks over there, and we hope all is well. Join us each episode alongside a rotating crew of GI editors and special friends from around the industry as we bring you the latest news, reviews, and big man swag your eyes and ears can handle. And trust me, we got a lot of it going on. This week is huge. I know what you're thinking. I'm talking to you. You're like, oh, Elden Ring's out. Nothing else matters. Wrong, I say to you, because we got Pokemon news. That's right. Gen 9 coming a lot sooner than I thought. We got Steam Deck review impressions. We have Triangle Strategy. We have so much to go over. Tiny Tina, the whole, everything games related is happening. And I don't know why. And it's going to hit April and we're going to be sad that nothing's happening. It makes, it is what it is. So, but first, let's introduce the panel. You know her, you love her. K-Star in the building. I last time you were on the show, I forgot to say your first name. So Kimberly Wallace, hello. How are you?
There you go. Go Bulls!
All right. Well, you don't need to
know.
Oh my God.
Whoa. Wow. There's an entrance for y'all.
Pancakes just jumped up onto the chair out of nowhere. That scared me.
Yeah, I wouldn't mention the Bulls anymore.
Obviously, a Milwaukee
It got
Bucks
him
fan.
excited. I don't know, but we'll see how long this lasts because I don't want to cause a scene.
Yeah. You're fine.
Well, scenes are more fun. How are you today, Kim?
I'm doing okay. Got my cat over here to keep me company, obviously.
Keep your
never
head warm.
never a dull moment.
I love it. And then the king of late night. Hello, John Carson. How are you?
I'm great. I've come out of my weekend of 30 hours of Elden Ring, and I'm ready to, I guess, play more throughout the week. And I'm happy to talk to you guys.
Is this what they mean when they call people tarnished, right?
Yeah, that's me. Tarnished. I really need to shower. It's been a long weekend.
Yeah, we can smell you through the mic.
Hey, come on, guys. You don't have to mention that.
Yeah. Smell-o-vision. It's the future. What are you going to do? And then joining us, a very, very special guest, Fine as Dabs in the building. Hello, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing excellent. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So you were the amazing person during our Extra Life stream last year who bid on the category to be on the GI show. And,
awesome.
It's been a long time coming. We can't thank you enough for that. You were very generous with your money. So thank you, first of all. But let's let the community know who you are. Let's first talk about kind of what brought you into games. What was your first couple of games that really made this a passion for you?
Oh man, the ones that made it a passion. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I've been gaming for a long time. My sister and my cousin, they had, their Nintendos, and I wasn't allowed to play. So they kept me very, very far away from them. But I think the first game that really hit me was I was over a friend's house, and he had an Atari, and he was playing Bonk. Do you guys remember the caveman Bonk?
Oh yeah.
Back in the day. Yeah. So
slamming his head on things. Oh yeah.
Yep. That game, I was just like, this is amazing. It looked like he was playing a cartoon. At least that's the way I remember it. And that game hit me really, really hard. And that's when I was like, okay, I need whatever this is so I can really experience what he has here. And then I begged my parents for years, and then I finally got a Nintendo of my own, which was great. And Mega Man 2 was my original. That was my Elden Ring, or my Souls-like game that I'd beat my head against and just play every level over and over again. But that was my intro into gaming, and I think I've advanced since then.
For sure. What kind of, not to put anyone into boxes at all, but what kind of gamer are you now? What do you what do you like playing? Are you a console gamer? Are you a PC gamer? Are you mobile? Like, what gets you fired up these days?
Yeah, it's going to be console gaming primarily. I do enjoy some MiHoYo games on my, on my phone and things like that, those mobile games. But yeah, console gaming's where it's at. I just got my Series X.
Congrats.
Thank you. So that is where I'm playing a lot of games right now, games that I've never got to experience before, or it's been a long time because I skipped last generation on the Xbox. And then I've been primarily a PlayStation player for quite a while now, even though I started off with Nintendo back in the day.
For sure. Have you played Sunset Overdrive yet?
I have not played Sunset Overdrive yet.
Well,
I love Insomniac. But
this was a great appearance by you. Unfortunately, you do have to go to play Sunset Overdrive. We can pick this back up when you finish. No, that is a game you should play though. As I sit here, I look at our Discord call and I see your name is RView Gaming. What is RView Gaming? What kind of content do you guys make? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, no, I'd love to. Thank you. So shameless plug, RView Gaming is my brand. I was trying to think of something where I could encapsulate everything that I want, but the people that join me in having these conversations, in terms of like video games, the industry, and everything that you guys have done and inspired me along with all these other channels and everything. So I really wanted to come up with a brand name that spoke to that. Now within my brand, I have what we call the Game and Watch podcast, which is it's our baby. Every week we shoot live, and I think we're on episode 77 or 78. I don't even know.
Congrats.
Yeah,
that's dedication.
It is dedication. We dropped off for a little while. We were doing audio only at the beginning, and then we started doing video late last year, and it's been such a good time. Been so fun, but it's so much work. I did not know.
It is. Podcasts are a lot of work,
especially in the beginning. It's funny. Almost everyone you talk to has similar stories on how they started, and I was right there. When we started our stuff outside of GI, so I feel you on that. Yeah.
The pandemic really fed to that. I died a little bit inside, but then just being able to connect with people and just talk about what we love was absolutely amazing. So now we have this little motley crew from people around the world. Shout out to Mr. Madness, aka Mark, and Matt, the educator, and Too Tall for You Fool, who is my main man, one of my best friends that has helped me create this, and is one of the reasons why I'm here chatting with you guys today.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
So
shout out to them.
Yeah, for real. So you said you're all around the world. Did you guys meet online, or have you just been friends for a while, or how did that connection happen?
Yeah, me and Too Tall have been friends for quite a while. Other people we've met through conventions, and then other people we've met online, whether that be through Reddit or whether that be through just random people we meet on PSN or
nice,
and things like that. So we just reached out to everyone. We're like, who wants to talk games? On a weekly basis.
Awesome. Yeah,
we got a couple hits.
Cool. That's awesome. I promised I wouldn't throw you any heaters, but the world needs to know, how tall is Too Tall?
Oh gosh, he's gonna hate me for not knowing exactly how tall he is.
5'9".
Does he say he's 6 foot and he's not 6 foot?
No, he's over 6 foot. I would say I think he's 6'2" or 6'3".
That's pretty tall.
That's pretty tall. Okay.
My dad's 6'2". He's a tall guy.
All right.
Yeah, Nick, how tall are you?
I'm 6'5", and I am too tall. So he's within the appropriate range.
I forgot to tell you, Alex. I went back home for Christmas. My little brother Riley.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's now 6'4". So where did my video go? That was weird.
He's back.
I don't know what happened there.
He's doing something.
I didn't touch the thing.
He's talking about the family.
My hands were literally in my pocket. Yeah, my hands were in my pocket. I don't know what happened.
He's 6'3"?
6'4", and he's 17.
Oh wow!
So he's not done growing. So
if
you're mean to me, I'm gonna fly him out here, and he's gonna bully you.
Is he thick tall or is he skinny tall?
He's he's on the swimming team, at his school.
Ooh.
Okay.
Like you're definitely like thicker, but he's lean, but he's mean. You know.
He can kick.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Ooh,
can kick.
yeah.
He swims the butterfly
Yeah,
Oh.
and the freestyle. So
I'm on the gaming
do the
team right now,
dance.
so I think I would get my ass kicked, frankly. So, Alex, by the way, you look wonderful today. You know,
thank
the
you.
beard looks good. And just please don't sick your brother on me.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
So cool. Well, Finez, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing a little bit about your life. We're excited to have you, and let's talk about some games, shall we? Does that sound
Do it.
fun?
Let's do it.
So Sunday rolls around, right? Rubbing the crust out of my eyes. Just like, staying up late playing video games, you know, like forgetting that anything is going to happen on this day. And then I open up a little Twitter, scroll the timeline, and I see some people talking about Pokemon Generation 9. I was like, absolutely not. This is the Lord's Day. Thou shalt not announce Pokemon on Sundays. But the Pokemon company thinks that they deserve Sundays too. So Pokemon Scarlet and Violet recently announced for the Nintendo Switch. Gang, we are getting, if you're a Pokemon fan, we're eating this year because now this will be the third game in about a year's time, right? We don't know exactly. Yeah.
Ish. Yeah.
That's me screaming. I'm like, I'm not done with the last two. What the heck?
You have like 9 months, 10 months. You're good.
Man. No, they're going to announce something else. And like, well, I can't keep up.
Yeah, another mystery dungeon or something like that. So, but this is from the news hound, Wes LeBlanc. It says, it's been nearly 3 years since the release of Pokemon Sword and Shield, which began Generation 8 of the long-running Pocket Monster catching series. And now, following yesterday's reveal of Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, we'll be diving headfirst into Generation 9 later this year on Nintendo Switch. New generation of Pokemon is exciting for a number of reasons. Oh, he's editorializing here. There's the new story to unravel, a brand new region to explore, and of course, new Pokemon to catch. Perhaps most exciting than all of that, though, are the 3 starters that we'll be beginning our new Scarlet and Violet adventures with. Should I try to pronounce these names?
Please do.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I want to
Well,
hear
for
it.
once, have it be you who messes it up because it's always me.
I will fall on the sword. I'll start with the easy one. Quaxley. He's the water type duck who's got the cute little hat. You know, he's just quacking around.
Oh, that's all hair, baby.
That's hair?
That's hair.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a sweet quaff that he's got.
Wow. man is swagging here. Fuecoco. Okay.
Get it right.
I was trying to, and then he yelled at me, and then your camera went away.
I
know.
love it.
Fuecoco is the Fire Croc Pokemon, which is the supreme and right choice here. Just throwing that out
Yeah.
there.
What?
Have you seen Fidesz? Have you seen these Pokemon?
Oh yeah, I love the designs. I can't wait to get Quaxley. Like that is my boy. He's like a
Your
little
team
Donald
Quaxley.
Duck.
That's the one I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm Fuecoco mainly because it looks like a Bubble Bobble character.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
He looks like Totodile's cousin.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
Yeah.
here for it.
Yep. That's my choice.
Gonna make
Totodile.
a fire alligator.
Yeah, to go with
As
his
its final
little
evolution.
cousin. Yeah.
And Sprigatito is also cute. The third one.
It is.
Who is the grass type cat.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you
for
can't go wrong with
pronouncing
a cat, right?
Cats love grass.
None of the cats in Pokemon are good. Like
Well, hey, you ain't lying.
that. What
Except Galarian Meowth, maybe it's like the
Well,
only good one.
Luxio's a cat, right? John?
Yeah.
That counts,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
dog.
It is. It's
Yeah.
a lion. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a lion.
Yeah.
That
All right.
Luxio
All
is
right. All right. Fair.
This is
It's
a
a
type of
fast
cat.
favorite
Okay.
of mine. I'm not trying to call anyone out here, but it's like play Gen 4 is all I'm saying. Another something I want to highlight. So we talked about the starters, right? We saw in-engine footage, which you may be seeing right now, depending if we put trailers in this, but taking place in a Spain inspired area, right? It's felt like each Pokemon game on Switch so far, mainline games, have been kind of building to this, it feels like a little bit, because they did announce that this game is going to be fully open world, something that, I remember when we did the watch along for Arceus that Alex and I lost, and Shay, we all lost our minds, right? Because we're like, open world Pokemon, it's finally happening. And then it was a little different, right? It was Monster Hunter. But I think that worked well.
It is semi-open, but like they never actually said open world, and now they're just full out saying it.
When you lean into the Breath of the Wild trailers, that's just what people are gonna think. Like, it's I don't like comparing everything to the Breath of the Wild, but also sometimes you create your own demons there. But so fully open world, which is kind of, we saw Sword and Shield do a half step of that. We saw Arceus do, I'd say, 3/4 of a step, and now this is their first real like dive headfirst into this space. Which I am excited and worried for a little bit. And we can talk. And the last couple of things I want to hit on before we open up the discussion is they definitely made a point to show off improved textures, right? Like I can't remember. It was the
blueberries.
The which ones?
The berries in the tree.
The berries in the tree, but then there was a couple of Pokemon. Magnemite was like they wanted you to see how shiny it was. Like Lucario had like little more in-depth like fur on him and stuff like that. So
like Psyduck and
Someone
else.
Magnemite,
yeah. There's the snake one that I'm not.
Oh, Seviper. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, Seviper, especially that one was like you could see the scales and stuff. So this is definitely the best, at least in the 20 seconds we've seen. It's the best looking a Pokemon game has been. But I'm curious what y'all, John. We can start with you because you and I share that love of the pocket monsters. Yeah. What do you, and Alex too, but like we've talked about it more recently. Like, are you excited? Are you anxious? Where are you at with Violet and Scarlet?
I'm really excited for it. I like what I've played of Arceus so far. I'm maybe like 10, 12 hours into that, but other things have kind of derailed me. I'm waiting to get back to it. But I love the open world aspects of it. I love roaming around the world and being able to like freely catch Pokemon and battle Pokemon and having that seamless interaction with everything there. Everything in that game is more tailored towards catching. So I'm excited to see how they incorporate more of like the gym crawl and more like NPC battling and more competitive stuff, because that stuff just wasn't in Arceus. It's obvious now, seeing that this game is going to be taking that open world approach, that Arceus was kind of their test bed for all of this, technologically and just proof of concept for all of their mechanics stuff. But like looking at the visuals and like the world of Scarlet and Violet, I think people might still have that same issue that they're having now with Arceus, where like the world's looking a little bit barren. But it is early. Like they have a ton of time to clean things up, and that was kind of that way with the first showing of Arceus too. Like Pokemon animations were at like half the frame rate that they were when the game launched and stuff. There's a lot of tuning that they need to do, but I'm really excited by the concept. I like the setting. Having a Pokemon set in Spain is it's cool. It's a fresh take. Like, I liked it when they went to France, when they went to Alola and all that stuff. So yeah, it'll be a nice change of pace, and I don't know, I'm just excited to see what they do eventually. We've only seen like 3 Pokemon from the game, what that region's going to be all about. So there's a lot to kind of wait and see.
For sure. Alex, my fellow Fuecoco brother.
Yes.
How we feeling? You excited? This is kind of what we were hoping for with Arceus, right?
Exactly. Yeah. The move to open world is really, really exciting. I'm a little worried in the fact that the Pokemon Company is not necessarily known for optimizing their games on hardware, as well as other, first-party titles at Nintendo. Mm-hmm. But I am very excited, and I think part of that is the new Pokemon designs. It hasn't been since Gen 5 that I've really resonated with the designs of Pokemon. So that's like Turtwig,
Litten, and
Oshawott.
Yes, it's the pig guy, that gen, which is I think Gen 5.
Tepig. Yeah,
Tepig. Okay. That was like the last Pokemon starter that really caught my eye, and I felt like I have struggled in recent years to really. That's like, to me, what ultimately gets me to dive in is those 3, like, okay, here are our like pillar Pokemon, along with the legendaries, of course.
Right.
I've always kind of like, I haven't been interested in seeing what they evolve into, which is like part of the reason I stick with Pokemon games is that curiosity. Because I don't like seeing evolutions leaked. Like I'm never the guy who goes and I want to be surprised when I play the game. And if those starter evolutions don't do much for me, then I'm less compelled to do that. Whereas all three of these starter Pokemon, I really like the look of them. I think Sprigatito is very cute. Fuecoco, of course, is going to be my pick. At first, I thought Fuecoco was the worst of them all, and he just kept growing on me. I was like, this is like a little stupid Totodile.
Yep.
And then Quaxley is funny too. Like I just think like these are really great designs, and it gives me hope for that. I'll also resonate with the other designs in the game. And I hope that they do include a lot of new Pokemon. I always, whenever I play a new Pokemon game, I try to have my Pokedex, like, or my party rather, be filled with characters I've never played before. So each game I'm like getting the new Pokemon rather than defaulting to my favorites, you know? I feel like I'm more inclined to get more out of the game if I try the new characters.
I actually think that's, I'm in a similar boat where I kind of judge the Pokemon. I judge it on how many of the Gen 1 and Gen 2 and Gen 3ers do I have in my squad, right? And if it's not a lot, then I'm like, I know I'm really jiving with the game. And, you know, for all of its flaws, I thought Sword and Shield did have some great designs, even though they were a little bit, maybe not safe. I don't know what's the word I would describe them as. I feel like the Spanish influence is going to give a little bit more creativity and a little bit room for growth in some of the designs without going ballistic. Like what was it, Black and White 2 has the wire Pokemon and like the beetle that's like juiced up on steroids. You know what I'm talking about, John?
Sun and Moon.
Yeah.
The Buzzwole and circuitry.
Those are cursed images. We never need to see them.
They're
again.
Ultra Beasts. They're from a different dimension. They're not
ultra-
even from our world.
Ultra dumb, and I won't hear
Fine.
any otherwise.
I think that they just need to do. I would love a generation where they're like, screw it, we're putting like 150 new Pokemon in here instead of like the 60 to 70 that they've been doing, which like still a lot either way. Like having that many new creatures that you have to create every couple of years is impressive, but like I'm kind of craving that. Like I just want a whole new world that I can discover that's brand new, kind of like what they did with Black and White. I think it was that or Diamond and Pearl where they just had like 150 new Pokemon, and they're like, all right, this is our batch here. They're not. I know they're not doing that here because they've shown old Pokemon in the trailer already. But I think with like regional forms that they've been playing around with the last couple of generations, I think that'll bring a lot of new spice and flavor to existing monsters. At least it did with Sun and Moon, Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield.
Well, and Arceus now too, right? Yeah. Arceus has Hisuian forms that are varied, but you know, familiar. Growlithe, shout out, Voltorb, like those kind of things. So
I think that's what bothers me about Pokemon.
Really,
like the newest Pokemon is like just them like basically that tweak of like, you know, just changing Pokemon I'm already familiar with and that I love. And just like saying like, oh, they're from a different region, so they eat this different food, and then now they have a completely different type of element type and things like that. Yeah. I don't know. It's just there's so much to Pokemon now. It's kind of lost me.
Because we talked about pre-show, right? That you were a fan. Did you watch the trailer? Are you familiar?
I feel sorry for the security guard. Like, was he okay?
Yeah, right.
He might be dead now.
That was an interesting trailer. No, I really love the coastal Mediterranean vibe that they have. I love that there are these three starters. Very much the art style for these particular Pokemon speaks to me a lot, and Pokemon as an open world really fascinates me. I've always wanted, this is what I've been asking for 10, 15 years, and we didn't see this open world Pokemon where I can go and choose and what I want to do. But with Nintendo, you know, having the success of Breath of the Wild, and then now they're doing semi open world Kirby. It seems like that's the path they're going with all their games.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in if this is going to be more like a platform for
sure.
Pokemon versus just a mainline game where it ends and then it's done with. Because we actually saw downloadable content with Arceus. So I would love to see that with this.
And they did have a couple really big DLC packs for Sun and Moon as well, or for Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield. Which that's really interesting idea that this could be a platform. I like that.
Yeah, that is because the model for so long was just like the black and white 2 Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, like that kind of stuff, right? So now Sword and Shield could be a shift in that. Kim, I know you like the JRPGs, but you're not as high on the Pokemon series as of late. Is this doing it for you? Are you excited? Are you meh?
Let me go through the emotions of yesterday for me. I woke up, I saw the announcement. I was like, "Oh, should I be at work right now?" Like I was like,
is it Monday?
Yeah, it got me worried. And then I was like, "Wait, I've never been less excited for an announcement for a big game," because I was like, but I'm still trying to finish like the last 2. Like, slow this down here. And then the starters started appearing all on my Twitter feed, and I was like, oh, they're really cute. I like those designs. And then I went straight into like, okay, I watched the trailer and I got excited about it because I do agree the new locale will be cool. I do have concerns about the open areas. Just being barren and what they can, I hope they add more detail and they've learned some lessons from, even what they started back in Sword and Shield and then Arceus, obviously. But I was just like, this is too much. I'm just not ready. My body was not ready for it, I guess, yet. Not quite yet. I didn't have that jump up and down. I think we've just had a lot of Pokemon lately. And I think, like, if there had been, a little bit of time for me to breathe and in between, I'd be like all up about this. But just the timing for me was just like, I'm very like Pokemon'd out right now. I want to finish what I have, and one day we'll get there and I'll be ready for this one. I have like till late
2024.
Yeah. It says late 2022. What who knows what that really means. So, yeah, that was me. I didn't want to be that jerk who's like, I've never been so unexcited. For like a big AAA game one, it just like, I don't know, I think it was just the whole way it happened. For us on a Sunday, us Americans over here, we lazy. We're not ready for that.
Big facts, yeah.
And then, like, when I got it all, and then, like I said, I like the designs so far that I've seen, and I think that has me excited for it more than anything.
Yeah. I think totally valid on all fronts. I'm setting myself up for sadness here, but just bear with me. We have 8 months, so we're fine. I've never been. It's literally been since I was in kindergarten that I've been this excited about Pokemon. After Arceus, Arceus I think is a top tier Pokemon game. Like I do think it's god tier.
Oh yeah.
And that's because of whilst a technical or a visual not feast for the eyes, they fixed so many systems that I really, really enjoyed. Right, like the new catching mechanics are fantastic. The quick, snappy like nature of it that respects my time, that keeps things moving, even though the world may have a lot of issues with popping. Right, I think they focused on the right pieces to make sure that we're solid, right, in Arceus. And that excites me for the future because like now if you start adding gyms and like really like actually like start to reemphasize like battling too, right, I think that is incredibly exciting. However, just because it's open world, they haven't commented yet on if they're going to continue some of those things that they did in Arceus. I think they'd be foolish not to, right? Especially after the public, how the timeline really embraced Arceus for those reasons, right? I have to imagine that, like we said, like Sword and Shield had the wild area, right? But it was like semi-open, and it was fine. It was fine. And then Arceus like evolves on that a little bit, and it's like this could be in a very exciting evolution, pun intended, for this series if they continue to build off of it and fix those problems that were in Arceus, they have to do it though, right? We can't go back to the loading screens and loading into the battles and loading into, the catching sequences and stuff. And
from like some of the screenshots that they've shown, like at least battles look like battles in the Arceus. So like we're at least halfway there. It looks like you said, they haven't really confirmed it.
Right.
Yeah, like we haven't seen footage of it.
Too fast for me.
Too
fast.
Yes.
And I think that's why there's some apprehension, at least from me. It's like, because Game Freak has been working on that game for a while. From my understanding, it's not even the main team that worked on Arceus. Yeah. So, and Ilka did Diamond and Pearl, right? So like resources wise, people's wise, I think the timing makes sense, especially since Pokemon is the brand, right? Like it's bigger than most things at this point.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me as much unless there's crunch going on, and that's not okay. But like we don't know that.
Just in my moveset for my dark Pokemon.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, how much are these teams communicating and saw what was working and what that is what my worry is that there hasn't been much because they've all been busy with their own titles. And then you're going into this one, which you want to evolve and bring in all the smart innovations that they've had. And so, was there really time? Is just my concern.
Exactly.
And that's just me being a grumpy, grouchy skeptic here.
No, you're
just
fine.
Because I have too much Pokemons on my hands, which I'm like, I would have been fine if you guys waited till next year, even on this.
And I think as much as I'm hyped right now, I think that's incredibly valid because of the timing of this, right? Because normally when we see evolutions in games, like from what's an example? Like Horizon to Horizon 2, which we'll talk about later, or Forbidden West. They had 5 years. Grill had 5 years to implement those changes, where now it feels like Team A versus Team B had like 6 months to like figure that out. And, we probably won't know until we see it, right? But it's like, that's what has me nervous for this, right? Like, it felt like Arceus struggled to run in the semi-open world spaces that it had. Will it be doubled, or were they smart and really like monitor every second to really optimize this next game? I don't know. Did Nintendo give them more resources for that? I don't know. There's a lot we don't know yet, and I would imagine we learn around E3 time or whatever that that summer area is when they do the big direct, right? So, we can speculate all we want, but we won't know until we see it. So, unequivocally though, Nintendo's next direct, the summer direct, is like the show because we're going to get some answers on Breath of the Wild too. Maybe. Like potentially. Well, they're running out of time if they don't. We'll get answers on Scarlet and Violet. And Splatoon and Xenoblade. Like, Nintendo really does have, at least in pre-release right now, a claim at the best year software wise, which is wild because PlayStation has Horizon, Gran Turismo, and God of War that we know of, right? Xbox, we'll see what they got going on outside of Starfield, but I mean, and there's rumors on the timeline that there's still more that Nintendo isn't showing, which there's always rumors of that.
I mean,
but
Kirby can swallow cars. We are at a very huge
almost
point.
Almost. So close.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Come on.
So exciting if you're a Pokemon fan. Obviously, there's some worry to be had, but let's hope and pray for the best, I suppose. So,
Hey, I want it to be great. I hope so.
Yeah, I do too. It would be great for this to be the Pokemon game to like end all Pokemon games after.
To just nail the
I want
open
more
world,
after it, though.
I think would be cool.
I mean, this is Nintendo, and them learning from their lessons. You're asking a lot.
Nintendo does what Nintendo wants.
That's why I said I'm setting myself up to be disappointment. I'd rather be hopeful and excited than totally sad about it. So, speaking of Pokemon, John, I have a mission for you.
Sure.
Can you quick go to Spain for me?
Mm-hmm.
Just like get the lay of the land,
right down the street.
And see what kind of Pokemon are there, so we can get maybe like a little scoopy scoop.
Sure. Yeah. Let me. I
want to know how much Fuecoco weighs, if you can figure that out.
Yeah. I'll bring a scale.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
This bit has gone on way too long.
Welcome back to the GI show. John is off on his mission. He's doing his thing, but we're here today. We I'm gonna try that again. I was gonna say something inadvertently mean that wasn't true. Um, welcome back. John is off on his mission that we sent him on, and in return, we got one Matt Miller in the building. Hello, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
It is so good. I'm going to kick this over to you and Alex because I'm very jealous. Y'all got to spend the last couple weeks playing with Valve's new toy, the Steam Deck, and I want to hear all about it. Matt, you wrote the review for us. Let's get into it. What are the highs, and is this potentially the next big thing in games? Like, I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I noticed about the Steam Deck is even after all the stories and all of the buzz on this topic, I got that thing in my hands. I was like, man, this thing is big. It's big. It's like a foot wide. It's like a pound and a half.
$5 foot long.
It's wild. I mean, I think we've gotten accustomed to a few different ways of understanding the scale of portable gaming, right? One important benchmark, especially for most of us, is the Switch. And it's a lot bigger than that. Although of note, the 7-inch screen is the same as the OLED, the actual screen itself. But just in terms of overall heft, it's a beast. And your other reference point, I think for most people, is either a mobile phone or tablet for mobile gaming. And I guess you could say, and there's certainly tablets that have bigger screens. But in that case, you're not talking about like all the weight of the controller, the thumbsticks and the buttons and all that kind of stuff off to the edge of the screen. So I know it's been talked about a lot, but like that's a thing, and I think it affects the way that you might think about how you'd use this device and where you would take it. Right. It feels quite ideal for. I'm sitting on the couch, hanging out with my partner, and we're watching some TV, and I want to play something, right? Or maybe I want to have it before I go to sleep at night in bed.
So just like the Switch.
Yeah, I think so. But unlike the Switch, right? The Switch, I think I feel more compelled to, just on a size factor component, I feel more compelled to like pop it in a bag and go someplace, like to have that with me on an airplane or whatever. Right. And I think at least for some users, you have to think twice about that. Because I mean, it's a big thing to find a space for when you're like, okay, well, I'm going to go hop on the bus. Right. And for some people, that'll be fine. But I think it affects the way you think about it a little bit.
What about battery life?
Yeah, battery life is probably one of the biggest hits that I think anybody's going to hear about this thing. Alex, I'm interested in your experience, what you had, but I mean, it was not unusual for me to be like starting to run out around the 2-hour mark. And that is not a lot of time if you're expecting to let's fly to Tokyo. This is not your companion, unless of course you invest heavily in portable batteries that you can plug into. There's a lot of ways that the Steam Deck supports accessorizing. I know I experimented a little bit about this, but Alex, maybe you can speak more to it because I know you did a bunch with like USB-C hubs and what that adds to the equation. But whether it's that or portable battery, having a micro SD card that you use for storage. There's a lot of ways that you can sort of grow the potential of this thing and account for drawbacks by getting this extra thing over here, or this extra thing over there.
Yeah, I think the micro SD card I grabbed was just from Target. It was the fastest one on the rack. I want to say it was like $40. The read speed was like 175, and write was like 95. And I was able to run The Witcher 3 off of that micro SD card I could not notice the difference between running it off the internal storage on the Steam Deck, which is saying something because I think it's a 256 gigabyte NVMe drive in the model we had. And I don't know what magic they're doing behind the scenes, but I was very surprised at how quickly I was able to load into the world of Witcher 3 and how, it was consistent performance wise, and all of that was off of, $40 storage extension.
And you mentioned the 256, right? That is the mid-tier model,
Yeah,
right? There's
yeah.
3 models offered at the pre-order point, and that is the mid-tier. What is the top of the line is 500 what? Is it just
Gigabytes.
double? Is it?
There's
yeah.
there's 512 for
512.
650.
Okay.
And then a big jump down, you can go to a 64 gigabyte at $399. That's your like entry.
I don't know if I would recommend the 64 gigabyte.
That's
Yeah,
that's
that's
not-
a game.
yeah.
That's
for
not
real.
even. I mean, I was
some
downloading
cases,
plenty of
not the
games that
whole
were. Yeah, there's several games I was playing that were several years old. And then I got I'm stuttering. The thing to note is that you aren't running like a smaller compressed version of this game. You're running the PC files, and so you're going to have massive games like Apex Legends, like what 89 gigs, I think. Dishonored 2, I think was like 47 or something.
But it does have expandable storage, right?
Through the micro SD card. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the only way to do it. And
It works well.
It does work well. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I ran The Witcher 3, but I would definitely recommend, I think the 256 gigabyte model would be the lowest I would go. And then you're starting to talk to get into like, well, that's what, I don't remember the exact price. Is that 550 or 500 for that model? Regardless, it's expensive.
Yeah, at current pricing, it's $529 for the 256 and $649 for the 512 gigabyte.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, I think we should contextualize that a little bit, though, right? Because again, people depends on where you're coming at this from. Compared to a Switch, which I think we would all acknowledge, the Switch is an awesome portable system, right? It's really
Yes,
great. It's got some
100%.
awesome games.
Yeah.
There's things that the Switch can't do, though, right? Like, there are games that are never going to be at their best on the Switch, even if they did come to Switch. Many of which haven't. But you're going to pay less to get a Switch, and but the other side of that is you're comparing this against like a low to mid range gaming PC. On that scale, this is very affordable. Yes, it's primarily built to be played handheld. I wouldn't suggest it as being your go-to of like, I want a gaming PC that I can like plug into my monitor. I mean, that's not the way to use it.
To
really.
be clear, you can though, right? They do have
but I had not
Bad
had good
results.
experience. Yeah, I didn't have good experience doing that.
The dock is coming out later though too, so
Yes.
at some point then you'll be able to possibly do that.
I think so, and I'll be really curious how the dock handles. One of the most notable things, and again, Alex, I'd be interested in the ones games you tested. The lag issue made anything that required significant timing things. Just plugging through the USB-C hub made it not viable.
It was rough. It would not output to full screen when I had it. It was a tiny with letterbox. It was surrounded by letterboxing, and it wasn't great. I think it was playing like 800p, and I've got 1440p monitors, so it was like a tiny box that I was playing off of. This isn't the device to do that, at least at the current moment.
Yeah. But then again, another thing that's of note here is that we are talking about Valve. We're talking about a company that has a lot of experience here with PC architecture and Steam and iterating on things with like Steam itself. And during the review process, even, I don't know if we count this as a good thing or a bad thing, but just to be straight with everyone, they were updating that thing up until launch day, and even after launch day, it's continued to. There's been significant updates going on.
We would get multiple emails a day from PR saying,
exaggerating,
multiple. It was ridiculous.
Where they were changing, and that certainly that made certain things about evaluating it as a product challenging, but beyond that concern, which doesn't affect anybody who's actually buying the thing, I think it speaks to a product that was coming in pretty hot. Right. And had a lot of changes. I think it's very possible that its capabilities to connect to a monitor and that kind of stuff might be different in just a few weeks or a few months' time. But that's not what it's for. You should buy it if you want to have a thing where like I want to take my Steam library, I want to take it on the go, or I want to be able to sit on my couch and not be tied to my computer desk. Like, that's what it really excels at. And on that point, it feels like we've been talking about a lot of almost like caveats around this thing.
Right.
On that point, the Steam Deck is, I think, a success. I think that it played a lot of games and they looked real nice. Running on this little screen. They have done some work. Not everything works off of your Steam library. That's another sort of limitation right now. But they have gradually begun to build out a list of things that are quote unquote verified as being great on Steam Deck. You can find that list quite easily online.
They do a nice thing too, where if you log into the portal on their site, they will tell you what in your library is actually,
great on deck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, great on deck.
Last time I saw that number, I think it was at 300 and counting.
It's a lot of games. That said, I mean, Steam has a lot of games, like way more than 300.
Sure.
And so there's stuff that's not verified yet. And there are some things that don't, even though they run okay, they're not optimized for the experience. So I encountered a lot of games that were like, this text is almost unreadable because it's basically, I mean, it's almost not a port. It's just, this is the PC game on a small screen, right? And so, so that's something that people have to account for, I think, a little bit. But for the games that run well, like for instance, like to be able to take God of War, the recent God of War, put it on a machine that you can hold in your hands and like walk outside and play it. That's pretty rad.
Yeah. Do you have any highlight games that you want that were like, I know Alex said God of War 2 when I was talking to him, but for you, Miller, is it like, was there anything else that you went, because I'm seeing people talk about Elden Ring on the thing and it like runs almost perfectly. And I'm like, what world are we in? This is amazing. This is the dream of the Switch, Yeah,
it is. And I mean, that's what we talk about pricing. It seems at first glance like, that's kind of expensive. That's more expensive than a new gen console. Unless you're going for the low end version of Steam Deck here, you're going to probably spend more on this than you would on PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X. That's if you don't have one of those machines yet, that's a hard decision point. I mean, you'd have to really be in love with portable gaming. Then again, you have a big Steam library already. You want to be able to take that thing on the go. And a lot of the games that you want to play and experience are there. I think it's great. I mean, for me, some of the platformers I played, I thought were really good fits for it. I played there's a recent game called Fist that I thought ran really well. I played some Ori that was pretty cool. Some of the roguelikes, played really well, like the side-scrolling roguelikes. And certainly stuff like I played some Dark Souls 3 that ran well. God of War ran really well.
Nice.
I mean, it's a big list. To your point, 300 plus. It's a lot of games at launch. I mean, sure, some of them are old, but it's an impressive list.
I'm not gonna lie though, I definitely I was like, cool, all the Final Fantasy pixel remasters done. You know what I mean? There is a bunch of games that me as usually a console only player, I'm like, okay, these are older, right? But maybe I'll play Chrono Trigger, the Steam version of it, like that kind of stuff, which is, I don't know if I could justify the $500 to do that, but especially if I can sit on the toilet and play Elden Ring too, I don't know. This does sound
right there.
My dream.
I'm thinking it more for people who have commutes, like train rides and stuff, that it would be perfect for them. But then I was like, wow, that system is so expensive. I don't know if I want to be out in the world with it. I would be, it's a scary thought of someone just swiping that from you, because it is more expensive than I think anything we've had that's portable before.
Yeah, but I think that's true.
I'm looking at my list of games that I tested. Sorry to interrupt you, Miller.
No, please.
A couple of standouts, and we do have a video up on the channel now. I tested 23 Steam games. I had 24 hours with it. Tested 23 games. A couple of standouts. Dishonored 2 was booted up in low settings mode, and it looked like booty. I was like, I wonder if I can adjust this. And so I was able to crank it to high, and I was getting 60 frames a second running Dishonored 2 on high. My computer at home with a 2070, just because of in terms of optimization, can't run Dishonored 2 that well. There's something, I mean, it was very surprising. A couple of other standouts, Dota 2. I was able to play a few matches of that, but I was a little awkward to get used to the controls. Again, really smooth experience. I was playing online with other people. I was able to match with friends. Yeah, it's kind of wild, like what this device can do.
Yeah.
So,
Well, go ahead, Finesse.
oh, I was just gonna say my biggest draw in this is just the amount of button layouts and functionality, just with the button mapping and things like that. With all the different configurations and things that they have, like, what did you guys think of the actual buttons themselves? The analog sticks, they look so much better than the switches. That has a little mouse pad and all this. How'd you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I think the actual hardware itself, like as a unit that you're controlling games with, is really strong. My biggest complaint about it actually was that, like, I've pretty large hands, and even with bigger hands, I think the thumbsticks are a little out of reach. Not terribly so. It's not like you can't get up to them, but they're not where you're natural when you're holding on to the base of the unit. Think about the way you hold onto a Switch. I mean, that's pretty much how you'd hold onto this. The place that your thumbs come to rest is not where the thumbsticks are. It's because they've made room for those big touch pads on the side, which you need for anything that needs kind of like mouse input style things. You have those touch pads. So the thumbsticks are up above that, and that makes for kind of an unusual reach a little bit. That's my biggest complaint. The thumbsticks themselves are really nice. They're really snappy. They have a nice texture to them. And the touchpads also I liked. I don't think I ever got to a point, maybe with some more practice, but I never got to a point that it was that I felt I had the precision that I had with a mouse.
Okay.
But you can approximate it, right? I mean, unless you're talking about something where you really do need a high level of precision for mouse control, I think you can do that. And the touchpads themselves have some nice kind of like haptic feedback that I really liked. It almost sort of like Alex and I were talking about how to describe the sensation. It's almost like it's sort of like it magnetizes just a little bit.
It like tingles a little bit, like as you like the motors inside feel really good. That make it feel really good. And I found it helped, like with that feedback. It kind of helped because I mean you're talking about like a tiny like 1x1, 2x2 square for these trackpads. So there's not a lot of room. And I felt like those haptics helped me keep track of where my thumb was on that pad. So I didn't have to like look at. I felt like if you've ever used a laptop and you're like looking and it doesn't have any feedback whatsoever, like a cheap $200 laptop, it's really awkward to like figure out like, okay, where's my finger right now because this isn't working how I want it to. I felt like I was very aware of, okay, I need to, adjust my finger just based on, how it felt. It was interesting.
I also just on the subject of just navigating through this thing, I think it has a very strong, like the kind of sort of custom Steam interface that they've put in place. Very good. Works great. I found myself easily navigating around my library and getting the stuff that I needed. And as I noted in the review, I really like they have a quick access button. This is the one that's like down below the right touchpad. And you tap this and it really has the things you'd want quick access to. It's quick tweaks of brightness and volume, and you can even do some stuff where you're sort of, if you're trying to, as I think you will be, trying to tweak tech specs on a given game, you can pull up things like usage percentages on the fly and just kind of like, oh, okay, like this is I'm at 80% right now. And so I liked that a lot. I thought that was kind of a cool.
Yeah, they have like 3 different tiers of diagnostics.
Yeah.
So if you're really a PC sicko and you want to see all of the thermals, how your CPU's handling the strain of what's going on, your frames, obviously, it's there.
For sure.
And I got to give a shout out to Linus Tech Tips. I was watching one of their videos and they made a good point. Typically in consoles, you would see like, we don't have access to those numbers a lot of the time. and it almost feels like platform holders are like trying to hide the numbers from you. And Valve just gives you all of that data, and even if it means that, you know, their device might look bad on a certain while playing a certain console, it's like, oh, I'm only getting 20 frames a second on this game. But like, it's nice that they gave that to you. You know what I mean? And hopefully, like, as the community plays these games and figures out the best way to run these games, like that information will kind of get out there for other people. And we wouldn't be able to do that if we didn't have, you know, those diagnostics to call on.
For sure.
I like that feature a lot.
Oh, I was just going to say, in terms of what Valve's doing, is like you had a checklist for all the things that they're doing right in terms of the system. I think they're doing absolutely amazing. They're like the right to the repair and just like sending out all that information in terms of allowing you to see what's in the system, telling you like what not to change. But the Linus video was absolutely incredible. Yeah, I saw that also. Yeah.
I assume you don't have the system yet, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, okay. I'm on a long list of people that may have it in 2024.
But yikes! But you are on the list. Do you want to, like, from what you've heard today and some of the reviews and stuff? Do you still think this is for you, like this pre-order?
You know what? I think it is, and it's going to be kind of the opposite for me. I'm not a big PC gamer, so I game primarily on console. Always have, you know. And yeah, I think this is just going to be very suitable for me in terms of just like everything that you can do, having something portable, not doing such a significant investment, but still allowing me to have the options to play in so many different ways. I think that's the most important thing to me, is just seeing people boot up, you know, Microsoft Game Pass on it, seeing Steam. I've seen like Valve, like, you know, and now with PlayStation bringing their games to this, you know, or bringing their games to PC and having that option also, it's absolutely incredible. I think this is going to be very much for me. I think the battery life is always the biggest drawback with systems like this. But, you know, Valve already said this is not the first iteration, or the last iteration, I should say. So I'm looking forward to this, or maybe something down the line. But, we'll see in time.
For sure.
Unless you want to give me yours, Matt. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm first in line. All right.
I think that's really good insight. I think that there are a lot of people on the primarily console side that if you're willing to handle that expense, which is significant, especially if you're a console gamer and what you're used to spending on stuff, it's going to open up this arena that you can have pretty high confidence in. I mean, one of the challenges with PC gaming, I think, for anybody who's trying to get into it, is that you're probably not starting at the top of the line, right? When you go and get I'm talking about somebody who's just like getting into PC gaming, right? You're not going to go spend $4,000 on a PC right off the bat. You're going to get like something that's like, okay, well, I want to give this a try. I want to start getting some Steam games and that kind of thing. But when you do that, there's this sense of like, well, you know, what I love about console gaming is I just get that game, I download it, or I put that disc in, and it just goes. It just does what I want it to do, right? I've heard that from lots of people over the years, that's why they stick with console gaming. You get that low to mid-range gaming PC, and you get it all set up for the first time, and you're really kind of out in the Wild West at that point, where you're like, okay, well, maybe this works, but I don't really know what this setting means, and I don't know how to is this even going to run appropriately? You know, I got this a year ago, and now there's this new game. Like, all that stuff is a new frontier that you have to confront, and it can be really challenging. I've talked to a lot of people that single aspect of PC gaming is what keeps them away. Steam Deck, in many ways, is the best of both worlds. It allows for tweaking, right? You can go in, you change the frame rate, you can change how it's being used, you're changing your settings, because these are just the PC builds of these games. You do whatever you want with them. However, you do have confidence because of those lists of like, this runs great on deck, right? That you can get that system and you can play those games that are on that list with high confidence in the same way that you do with a console game. I don't think anybody should undersell that, the significance of that for people who are coming at it from the console market.
Definitely. Well, and Kim, you're a console gamer as well. Is this where are you at with after this conversation and the reviews and stuff like that with the Steam Deck?
Yeah, so I have been on the fence about it. And when I heard the battery life, I'm a little bummed out about it. So I'm very much in the wait and see camp, but I want to bring up, I'm somebody who deals with a lot of chronic pain due to an autoimmune disorder. And for me, it's really hard to just sit at my computer for long periods of time. So this sounds amazing for someone like me who would be able to take that Steam library of mine that I so often want to play this game or devote more time. I just wish that battery life, as somebody who wouldn't want to be in the chair, for that long, was a little longer than 2 hours. But it's going to be, remember in the beginning, we all said that about the Switch's battery life, right?
Yeah.
It was,
I think if you're playing a game like God of War, you're gonna expect those load times. But if you're playing something like Loop Hero, which we did test, I feel like you could get 8 hours out of that,
There's so many games that I'm like, all right, I'll play this on PC because that's the only place I can play it. But yeah, it does sometimes get difficult, and this is a perfect solution. If the price point, and I understand why the price point is where it is right now, wasn't so high along with those little drawbacks, I'd be all for this. But right now I'm in that, all right, don't be the early tech adopter quite yet, because I have a feeling, as we've talked about with this, Valve is constantly working on improvements, and who even knows, a year from now we'll be with it. But I think it does offer a great option for people, like me, who just can't be in that chair for prolonged hours of times. It gives them another way to, play some of these games that they wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to.
For sure.
For sure.
I excuse me. I'll touch on my thoughts a little bit later in the community email section. But yeah, I'm in Kim's boat where it's hard for me, not for any of the valid reasons she gave, but I just don't like playing games at my PC.
That's fair too.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't want to conflate my not wanting to play with what you talked about. So, but yeah, I'm still justifying to my fiance that why I bought a Switch OLED. I don't know if I could justify to her why I bought a $500 machine to play a game from 1998. But
you still have the pre-order, Alex.
I do, and I don't know what to do with it yet. So we'll see. But Miller, Alex, we'll start with you, Miller. Any parting thoughts on the Steam Deck before we move on here?
I think we've covered most of the bases. In any conversation like this, it's easy to get kind of lost in the weeds a little bit because you're trying to make sure everybody, it's a big, expensive piece of tech. And I want anybody who was thinking about getting it to go in with their eyes open. With that said, I don't think we should miss the forest for the trees here. This is a notable moment in gaming, right? I know there have been some other portable gaming portable PC options. To my knowledge, they've all been very expensive, and nowhere near the level of full integration with a suite like Steam that this is offering. As such, I think of this as really an important moment for PC gaming to come to a broader audience, to be available in more ways, right? Most of the time PC gaming has been we've just been talking about, you're at a computer desk, and you got a mouse, you got a keyboard, maybe you're playing on controller, but you're still sitting probably on your at your desk, in front of your monitor. And this is changing that. It's really opening it up, and I think that's really cool. So I hope, certainly supply is an issue, to your point. You find as you've got a long wait in front of you. I think there's a lot of people who, for this community, this conversation that we're having right now, it's oh, great, but I can't get this thing yet. I understand that that's the deal right now for a lot of folks, but it will filter out. They're going to increase supply. I think a lot of people are going to be excited about it, and they should be. It's got problems. It's not perfect, but it's a very strong first step for doing this kind of stuff and allowing for PC gaming on the go.
Yeah. And as we've seen, Gabe Newell is going to deliver every one of them until 2024 and beyond.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
I can.
Yeah. Alex, how about you? Any parting thoughts here?
I am keeping my pre-order for what it's worth. I have the top tier model pre-ordered. The price point is scary, but I'm keeping my pre-order after playing it for myself. I was really impressed. Like Miller said, there's definitely some stuff in the software that is rough around the edges, but that can be patched. The hardware itself, which is what I am, the biggest part of what I'm paying for, I feel like, it is awesome. It fixes my biggest problems with the Switch, being the analog sticks. I was able to play, games like Doom Eternal, like I said, Dishonored, and it felt like I had a proper controller in my hand. And I was able to really, play these more Twitch-like games, right? With control and precision, and that's really important. And yeah, I'm a big fan of the Steam, the Steam community. As far as like, there are a lot of resources out there, whether you're trying to import controller configurations, or man, it'll be cool to see like if you can mod games on this and play them like that. There's a lot of potential, and once AMD releases its official Windows driver, which it hadn't when I got to play with the device, being able to boot Windows up on this thing is going to be very interesting. And yeah, I can't wait. Cannot wait.
Yeah, we've brought it up a couple times too, but I'm very curious to see if this has any impact on Nintendo. Being that Nintendo was basically the top dog in this space, right? No one was challenging them, right? And now you have something that's relatively affordable, right? That is doing a lot of things either the same, if not better, than the Switch space, and not maliciously. And I don't wish ill will on Nintendo, right? But it's like I kind of want them to be like, oh, maybe we do need to upgrade that processor for whatever comes next, right? Like, competition in this way can be good. So I'm curious to see how that affects it. Miller, thank you, sir. You gave what'd you give the Steam Deck as it stands now?
As it stands now, I think is an important distinction, but I gave it a B-. For all the pluses and all the minuses at hand. I don't want anybody to think that it isn't a really cool thing, but I think it'd be a mistake to go in thinking that this is a perfect system by any stretch, and it's just there's no room for improvement. I'll be eager to see how they, both with the existing model, how they patch firmware and that kind of stuff. But also, I'm sure this is not the last version of the Steam Deck that we will see.
No,
that's not. Nintendo may have that philosophy, but Valve does not.
Yep.
Yes.
So we'll see how that shakes out.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all can go check out his beautiful review on GameInformer.com, YouTube.com/Game Informer. We did the video review for that. Alex has a feature up right now for it as well on the Steam Deck as well. So go check all that out. Matt Miller. Unfortunately, I have been getting my DMs blown up by someone named Savathun for like the entire time we've been recording. Do you want to handle that? Should I handle that?
I'll go deal with her.
Okay.
You don't worry about it.
Okay, cool. All right. We'll be right back.
Talk to you later.
John.
Yeah.
You're back.
I'm back. I'm back from Spain. I got some coffee and I just spilled it all over myself, which is great.
Is Fue Coco okay if we call him Spicy Totodile?
I mean, he is a chili pepper, so yes, that's fine. He's okay with it. He thinks it's a little bit insensitive, but that's
all right.
That's fair.
Well,
and ladies and gentlemen, now to give you the exclusive reveal of the next legendary Pokemon John has seen.
It's an airplane.
Yes.
Guys, it was like
they already had a skyscraper as a Pokemon, so honestly,
it's like a 12-hour
he's
flight
so
both
jet
ways.
lagged. Look at him, so jet lagged.
Can I sleep?
Yeah, we'll let you ruminate on it. We're gonna get into the playlist. That's right, folks. You love it. It is the section of the show where we talk about the games we are playing. And let me tell you, gaming is good. We are eating good right now. Kim and I have been playing a game that I'm genuinely excited to talk about, and that is Triangle Strategy, the strategy RPG from Square Enix in the 2D HD vein of Octopath Traveler, Live Alive now. Basically, Square's going to go all in on it, and frankly, I'm here for it. So, Kim, you were writing the review. Let's start it off here. Are you enjoying your time with it so far? And to be clear, we're not giving score yet. We're just giving impressions. So
yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, I am a big, as everybody knows, Fire Emblem fan, Final Fantasy Tactics, any strategy RPGs. I'm your girl. I love them. And I will say I am enjoying this a lot, and I think it's because they found some interesting ways to make you feel a part of the story and like a little more attached to characters. So it's very much a political story. You know, these 3 regions, each has their valuable resource. You know, they all got to share. They all got to get along. They haven't always. There's a new thing where they're trying to have harmony and a new king, and you play as Serenoa? Is that what it is? Yep.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Serenoa.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Serenoa, and you as him pick, like I said, different dialogue options, which gives you... The only thing is, like, you pick these dialogue options and you don't really know what you're affecting, and I still don't know yet on some of them, but they kind of sway where certain, like, who will maybe join your party in the future, what characters you'll meet, where certain locations that you'll go to. And it's a basic strategy combat as you know it. The only thing that is tripping me up, I'm so used to Fire Emblem when you miss an attack and you, when somebody attacks you and they miss and you crit back at them. And the fact that this doesn't have that is driving me crazy. But it's very much is about positioning. I like that when you go on the battlefield, you're going to really want to make sure you're getting those back attacks in. And also using the terrain to your advantage. It's very important that you look for places to be elevated to attack from, because you'll get certain bonuses like that. Grouping certain characters, you know, who are adjacent to you can do follow-up attacks. There's a lot. Even with the terrain, so like if you launch like a lightning spell in, say, a puddle, you can electrocute people more. Like, it's cool things like that in the strategy combat, which is fun. But as me and Alex will note, this is a very you're not constantly battling in this game, and it's a very slow build up because they're building the story, the characters. You have these exploration phases where you're just supposed to go around and talk to all the people and get those dialogue options to pull the plot and shape what type of leader you're going to be. And I guess to end this off before we go to Alex, like, I just want to say the real cool crux of this game is it's kind of like a new, you're going to decide what foundation to lay as a leader for this new era. You are this new generation. What do you want it to be? And you have these dialogue options through the main character to try to decide that.
Definitely. And as someone who was overwhelmed by the pre-release coverage of this game, right, because those trailers and images were so like text heavy, detailed about what this is, I was a little anxious to go into it to see if I would care about any of these characters and stuff. And I'm only 8 hours in, but it does feel a little Game of Thrones-esque. Like
very political.
Yes,
and heavy foreshadowing, very heavy foreshadowing. That's not obvious at all.
Question: is the political stuff like really dry, or is it actually interesting?
No, I think
follow along with.
I think it's the way that they put you in it that makes it interesting, because you will have choices that come up based on what you've heard and what's going on. And I'll be honest with you, I probably would not be focusing on what's going on in this story. I would kind of like half in one ear out the other type of play it, because usually when I play strategy RPGs with... We're not talking about Fire Emblem here, because Three Houses is a dear to me, and I didn't skip any dialogue, and I was all in that. But sometimes with some of these games, they don't always have the most intriguing storylines. And here, I think I wouldn't be like, what's there isn't anything that's like different or new, but what's new is putting you in the middle of it, and then making you kind of just like want to see, well, if I'm kind of going in this direction, what does that mean for this land or this character? And I think that's what's keeping it interesting for me so far.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I do think the positioning too, literally the story too, like you are kind of as Thrones because you are kind of the Starks in this situation. You are not,
Mm.
you play Roland is a companion, right? He's the prince of the overarching monarchy, right? But like you are very much a steward of Glenbrook, right? You're obeying the king, you're doing his bidding and stuff like that. So it's like it's been interesting. And then you also see, so there's main story and then there's side conversations that you can take part in, and you kind of see how like the king and other people feel about the main characters, right? What's going on in the background, and you kind of get, like Kim said, like it's not subtle. It's not like there's very clear lines that they're starting to, and they have the classic trope of the JRPG characters with the white hair being the bad guys, right? Like that kind of stuff.
I don't
Like,
believe it.
yeah.
But you'll as you go through your journey, you'll be able to like recruit up to 20 characters, and
Yeah.
every character I've encountered so far just has like their own unique ability set, which is fun. And then from there, you can level up weapons, and every weapon has 3 tiers. And then beyond that, you can decide like. So you'll open up new abilities on different weapon tiers, and also by leveling up, but also the weapons have like stats you can build on them. So if you want to
That's
like
awesome.
raise the power and all that. So it looks like to me right now, like I said, I'm still kind of like Alex, still early in the game where it's like level 10, you can change your class, and I'm like just at that point. So I can't really speak to like how far the progression goes, but it looks like it's really tied up in the weapons and opening new abilities. And I'm just at the point now in the game where I feel like I'm leveling up and seeing all these new abilities for my characters. And it's becoming very satisfying of just watching them grow, because it's the same thing as like your characters level up or get more power by defeating enemies. So like you can't just spend a battle really not using a character. Like you want to heal every time, so your healer, at least even if there's no one to really heal,
Right. Yeah.
gets her experience points. The only drawback that I've seen so far is like there are battles that you can go into to kind of level up characters, but you are limited to how many characters you can bring in battle, and that will change depending about certain battles. But it also means that you might come down to a point where you have characters that you need to grind up a little bit if you want to use them and get them to certain points. But so far, the characters I've gotten throughout the story have been very close to my level, so I haven't felt like I've really needed to do that too much. But and the leveling's been pretty quick when I've had to go into battles. So it hasn't been an issue, but it's something I'm keeping an eye on, because I know these games can get grindy as you
Real
go
quick.
along the way.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, but like I said, I'm surprised with the story bent has really kept me engaged. I like the flow. I didn't think at first I was like, oh, I'm not fighting as much as I expected. And then all of a sudden seeing how the decisions kind of play out within the world and learning about it has become a lot more interesting to me than I think a lot of times how a lot of these games present themselves when there's something like, oh, there's political conflict going on. You get to kind of see like, ooh, what side do I take? Who do I trust? Who can't be like it's a lot. I was a little skeptical going into it. I'd played the demos and I was like, hey, this battle's, they look cool, but if it's not like with anything to keep the player engaged and keep me like in tune with it, then I'm just gonna put it down eventually. And I've been glued to it, honestly. We've just got code in recently, and I've been like, this is fun. This is really fun.
We got code in pretty late, so that was frustrating. But I think one of the best things I can say about my experience so far is genuine. Like there was a point I hit on Saturday where I was 4 hours into the game, and I think I had only fought twice. And that's a lot. Like that's a lot. Like I think even at the 8 hours I'm in, I've only fought like 4 times maybe, and that one was optional, right? So it's like it is very story heavy at the start.
I don't think this is for me.
No, I know it's not for you, but I will say, like I'm thinking about it. I'm like excited to go back. I think there is a draw there, at least for me, and someone who is dubious of the story in general.
You should mention no permadeath. No permadeath.
Oh, I was going to ask that. Yeah.
So,
sorry. My other question is with how dense these like political dramas can be. Is it good at onboarding you into the whole web of all these different families and characters
the
and
slowness,
states?
especially in the beginning, like it does pick up as Alex is like his first 4 hours. Then things kind of get moving after I think like the third battle or so. You get into things, but there are a lot of stop and pause and let's explain this and let's see where you align in this process, because a lot of characters will question you and be like, what do you think about this? Or, do you support this land in trying this? What kind of leadership style do you want to do to go into this battle? So you're asked actually questions that go with what you're doing, which I find interesting to explore. Like, why would you, maybe you don't want to play a battle very like deceptively, so you don't want to go for tricks. Maybe you want to play a more like regular like warrior style to it, and they give you chances to give reasoning for why you would choose that, which not many games ask you those questions. My biggest worry is I am making all these choices, and I like that I don't know where they're going in the same way where I was like, oh, I don't know where this is all going to lead, but that's part of what kind of makes it interesting.
Right.
But we don't know if this is going to really factor, how far these will factor, and if they will factor in a way that feels satisfying at the end, like what I picked mattered or I saw it show up. So that's always the tricky thing, with these types of games. But I feel like it's personalized the adventure for me, which I think is something that, like, let's not to go back to my baby Fire Emblem, but Fire Emblem Three Houses did really well of involving you in the journey. And I think once you can put the player in the shoes of what they're, of the main character like that, and have questions that are beyond, it really breaks up the strategy, the slowness of some of the strategy battles. As we know, those battles can go, and there's save points within the battles, by the way. So, sometimes it's an auto save. So say like you don't like a move or you get interrupted, you can go back, but it won't go back so far that you can like redo the entire battle. Like you can have a save before it and load that, but these auto saves kind of make it where one turn it might go back for you that you can like redo what you did.
And I have found that the spirit of Octopath is in it a little bit, whereas Octopath was I feel like very approachable for people like me who aren't versed in JRPGs. I feel like there is a similar theme in Triangle Strategy, where especially in the beginning, right, it doesn't hold your hand because you can lose those battles if you're not paying attention, right? But it kind of, not to say that it's easy, right? But it is. I think it's aware of the demographic it's pulling in, right? It
shows you, similar to Fire Emblem, like where people can attack you from if you put yourself in a certain area. So you have that information going in. You also, if you get on a square where you can like trigger like a counter attack with the teammate, it lets you know that. So it's got very good indicators to let people know about what they're about to do with the move they're going to make, which I think is great for people.
I did want to say there's also a recommended section where you're doing your character alignments and getting prepared for the battle. The system will recommend who to bring into a battle too.
Yes,
you can say,
I like that.
You can say screw it and go full tank, but it's like it's willing to help you if you need to be helped.
And I think that one's valuable because the different terrain, like I said, can become important. Some maps have a lot of things where having a flying character is very important. Yeah. Or an archer, for instance, who can get like healers who are up high. Tiers, multi-tier battlefields are very, very big in this. And so it's important I thought paying attention to those recommendations were actually really important for me.
For sure.
So Final Fantasy Tactics, one of my favorite like all-time games. Disgaea, also love that type of game. The mechanics sound very interesting in this. First question, do you feel like this would like be in that realm for me if I wanted to travel that path in this game?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. I think there's a lot of challenge there. Like I said, there's so many difficulty levels as well. I think there was like easiest, easy, normal, hard. There might be one after hard. Probably
I don't think at the start, but yeah, I think those are the 4.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and even on top of that, like the flanking becomes really important in this game, positioning in a way that, like I said, I feel like I can strategize a lot, and especially with the different spells you get and that feeling of progression within the different abilities and what that does open up for you. So anybody who's like a fan of strategy RPGs, I would definitely recommend giving this a go.
Okay. That's awesome. That's great to hear. And even the other question is, let's see. I'm sorry, Kim, you're doing the review for this? Are you going to dock it a point because of the name?
I keep accidentally calling it Project Triangle Strategy when I talk to people, and I'm like, they took the project off, Kim.
That's what its mom calls it when it's mad at it.
Yeah, right.
That was good.
very
I'm
good.
all for being very, direct with what you have, but yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, at least it's not as bad as like some of the Kingdom Heart titles.
Hey now.
I'm just calling it how it is.
I think
No.
this is like kind of like bad, or not necessarily bad, but like kind of deterring in like the other opposite direction. Like Kingdom Hearts like has those really, really long titles. It's like short and to the point, but I mean it sounds like a board game. Like I wouldn't even know what this is.
I feel bad because I feel like this game is going to go under people's radars just because it comes out on Friday. I forgot it came out on Friday. Like, let me be frank about it. And we've had all these big releases, and I understand that the audience is different for a game like this, more niche, whatever, but I haven't heard much about it lately at all to even indicate that this is coming. And it's good. Like what I've played so far is good, and I feel bad because I feel like it's gonna it's being sent out there and it doesn't have people championing it much. Even with how late we got code, that sucks. I would rather
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to playing this game, but the 2 fights in 4 hours thing, I'm not going to play this anymore.
It goes by so fast because it puts it in a loop. It does. It puts it in an engaging loop.
Alex is going to do some of the video stuff for it, so maybe you'll watch footage and feel
differently.
I'm editing the video review.
Stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll change my mind. But when you said that, I was like, dear God.
He's exaggerating a little. I think his clock is off because I was like, he told me that and I was like, I finished that in 2 hours, but whatever.
Maybe Alex is really slow at reading.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, but
I'm calling you out, Al.
I thought you were part of a book club.
I am. Why do you think it's taken me 2 months to read the damn book?
I think it just depends, but yeah, that does encourage you to explore because sometimes finding certain information and dialogue can actually open up another dialogue option, which then can be used. You have these events where your team will vote on what they want to do next, and you can persuade them to vote a certain way. So say you're between 2 locations and half of them are like, I want to go here, other half want to go another place. You can go up and make arguments with them, but you get extra points to make in your arguments if you've spent time looking through those exploration stages, finding out certain informations. Like you talked to an NPC and they told you, oh, this is going on, or you found a book that was like, hey, this place has ice magic, go there. That was really cool too. And I haven't mastered the art of persuasion yet.
No.
I had no idea what I was doing the first time, but I'm getting better at it, and I think that's a cool little mechanic too, just to have some different, and it shows you where it branches off,
right? Yeah.
In the time, so you'll know that certain branches would have let you go to different places or whatever, and you might have picked up a different character because of that. And I'm a sucker for that stuff. I love that.
So you guys talked about reading. So it's all text. It's not actually.
It's voice acted.
It's
voice acting is very up and down.
Yes,
for quality.
There's some that are great.
Yes, and then there's some that's just this is really phoned in. Woof.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just be aware of that.
Exactly. Picturing bad British.
They hired Alex Van Aken for some of them.
Yeah.
Lord, we come from the night watch on the 4th day of the 4th month.
That's even better than some of the stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Really? I'm available for hire.
Crushing it.
Yeah. No, I'm
It's
excited
Tuesday
to
in it in the Project Triangle strategy.
Look what we started.
Yeah.
I'll stop.
Rest of the episode.
Yeah. But yeah, I echo everything Kim says. I'm not a strategy guy. I'm liking them more and more, but it is grabbing me, and I do think the visual style has a lot to do with that as well too. I'm a sucker for 2D HD or HD 2D, however you want to say it. But so I do hope I share Kim's sentiment in that I hope people don't just like let this go by. We'll see. But keep an eye out for Kim's review on the site. And YouTube for some fun video stuff. But playlist is as long as that intro, and we need to say goodbye. So I've been playing. I'll be quick with this. I got to play Tiny Tina for preview. And I am very excited about it. So if you don't know, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, not
That's
land.
correct.
Yep.
That is the whole name.
Yep. The whole thing is it is a spin-off to the Borderlands series. It is a spin-off specifically to
Tiny Tina DLC.
yes, that is basically it was Borderlands in Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, let's fully lean into this and give it the whole game as this. And I got to play about 2.5, 3 hours, I think, when everything was said and done. And I am very encouraged and happy with what I played. I've been a fan of the series since 2009 when that first one came out. Haven't loved. I didn't finish 3. Right, the humor started to grate on me as I've become older a little bit, but I do think it's a double-edged sword. Right, I think if you like Borderlands, you're gonna love this because it the second you pick up that controller, you can feel that this is Borderlands, right? Which I would argue is a good thing because the shooting in those games has always been great. Especially in 3 when they added like clamber and some of the movement stuff. Like, I really like that, and I think the code of paint and the D&D inspiration of this is going to do wonders. Because I honestly think now that I've played it, I'm more excited for this than I would have been for a Borderlands 4. Because I love sci-fi, right? But like the new weapon skins and the spells are really fun to play with because they lean heavily into like even more heavily into like the elemental damage, right? There's just some really neat meshing of like the Hyperion sci-fi weapons with medieval weapons, and it's like automatic.
Yeah. So if you're not using
like
so if you're not using guns, what are you using? You said automatic cross.
They are guns, right? It's not. It's not isn't that much the sci-fi influence. It is very much like they tried to ground it in this high fantasy world, right? So like I had a shotgun that you can see the top of it has crystals sitting on top of it, and that's the magic that the waves that shoot out of it is from those crystals, and then they're still guns, right? They're still
okay. For some reason, I thought they were like more melee stuff.
They have melee stuff too.
They do have melee stuff too. So that is another point that they wanted to make with this game is they now have specific melee weapons that allow you to have the same elemental effects as some of the weapons do, right? So you can get my favorite in my time with it. I had, a sword or a scythe that had the voodoo effect, right? So anytime I did a certain amount of damage, I'd get health back. Fire, that kind of stuff, not revolutionary things in themselves, but they felt good and encouraged me to get up close and actually use my melee abilities. There was a class that encouraged it even more, the Stabomancer, which the name is the name. But their skill tree is very heavily like stealth, up close, personal. So it's like I would do anytime there were skills where it's like anytime I did a certain amount of gun damage, my melee damage would go up X amount. So it's like if I'm in an intense fight, build up on those stats, whack someone, especially too if I have the health boost on there too, or the health like leeching or whatever, like the systems are in place for that, for a nice flow of combat that I really appreciated. So paired that with the spells, which replace grenades, and the spells are what I think I'm most excited for in this. So it is the same thing, like similar elemental stuff, right? But I did everything from like go berserk with my character to and like boosted my defense, my damage, and that kind of stuff, to calling meteors down onto the battlefield and just doing crazy AoE explosions, right? I had and the spells vary from like, you can just like tap the button and something will come out, or you hold it to do like kind of a spray effect and whatnot. And I it's not grenades were finite in the other games, right? They're not in this. It's just a cooldown. And some spells have different, like you can use it 3 times in a row, or it's like one and done type of thing, but has a quicker cooldown to it. So when I started to merge the spells with the different classes' abilities, so like I said, the Stabomancer can go invisible and then land critical hits, or they can use an AoE attack that's like a spinning purple sword that's like sucking people in and doing damage that way. I found, like, when I could pair that with like the meteor coming down, right, that was a lot of fun. I was like, oh, this with the combat in Borderlands in general, right? I'm like, oh, this is scratching an itch more so than I thought it would. So I'm very excited for it. I was excited before, right? But actually getting to play it, being a fan of the series, I'm like, okay, I'm in on this. Is it going to hold me? We'll see, because like that's the other part of the double-edged sword of a Borderlands game, right? It's like either you're in on the story or it annoys the hell out of you. And I do feel like, not to contradict myself, but I feel like I'm somewhere in between that. I'm a little bit more forgiving than some people in the who play it are, right? And I do think it helps that they have like Andy Samberg and Wanda Sykes and Ashley Birch, right? Like, well, Ashley Birch has been in the other ones, right? But like, and Will Arnett too. It's like, what the hell? Yeah, like what is happening here? So, and I love Lonely Island. I think Pop Star is one of the most underrated comedies of the last 2 decades, right?
Oh, wow.
That
we don't
that
need to
movie,
go that far.
That is
movie's
a statement.
100%. Pop Star is incredible. I'm saying comedies. I'm not putting it against Martin Scorsese films. Someone who's listening
Should have won the Oscar.
Yeah, greatest of all time. But I do think that movie's underrated. Anyways, I'm curious to see how much they get to influence like the writing and the moment to moment jokes and stuff like that. And if they can nail that, those are funny people. Like, I'm in on that, but we'll see.
So are they NPCs or?
They are. The setup is Tiny Tina is leading these group of people on this D&D quest, right? So they are the players, but then you are playing a character in their game, so their character also has lines, and some of those lines were hit or miss. So it's like,
okay, that's what you're okay. Cool.
So like that could be grating maybe, but like the stuff from like Samberg and Wanda Sykes, I was like, this is funny. Like I can mess with this. So
yeah, I love the narration from Tiny Tina's Dragon Assault in the first one, and it just came out on PlayStation Plus, so I got to read quick
nice.
Before jumping on all these other games.
Yeah. So I'm curious. I feel like it's coming out at a good time too. March 25th, I believe, is the date for it. So it's like we're kind of out of shouting distance from Elden Ring and Horizon and stuff. So maybe it'll have some time to kind of shine. And I'm curious to see if my feelings carry over to like, the 20, 30 hours I'm actually going to play it. But I am looking forward to it. I feel like a good preview is something that makes you say like, I want more. Like I'm excited to play more, right? And that's how I feel currently. But I do think if you don't like Borderlands, this isn't going to be the game to change your mind on that either. So, Finez,
yeah,
let's get into it, man. We've been emailing about it for weeks upon weeks, months upon months. You are a big Horizon fan. You're playing Forbidden West. Let's get into it. How you feeling about it?
You know what? I'm sorry. You got to go to the Game & Watch podcast and listen and find out.
Time in us.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
No, you know what? It's been so, okay. So first off and foremost, and this is something you guys may not have experienced because you guys are in the industry and everything. But I don't know if anyone tried to purchase the game. Did anyone actually like go try to store, order it or anything? No. So Sony, them and their whole upgrade system caused everyone that had PS5s to buy the PS4 versions. So, and then there's all the standard delays that are happening with, just shipments and things like that. So I ordered it. It didn't come on time. It got delayed by days. So then I tried to go to GameStop, Target, Best Buy, everywhere to purchase this game. And they were sold out everywhere because everyone that had PS5s were buying the PS4 versions. There's no PS4 versions. There's only PS5s, and I have a PS4. So that was
no, that's even more of a yuck, dude.
Yeah, so that was difficult all in itself. But once I finally got the game, I ended up buying it digitally, and then I actually got the physical edition.
Nice.
It came in days later. But yeah, so I bought it, and then it's incredible. I really love what Guerrilla has done, and I can't believe what they've done on the PS4 for this game. Just the amount of graphical fidelity and just like the amount of detail. I'm kind of scratching my head because I feel like they said they couldn't do a lot of the aspects, like the glider, have like the NPCs like were realistic and like realistic behaviors and stuff like that. I feel like that was very much the constraints of the PS Zero Dawn, when that came out. Yeah. And they've done it all. That being said, there is some issues like collision damage, isn't quite there. I'm having a lot of pop in, so that's can be a little bit daunting. But where it really shines is, that detail and the side quests are absolutely phenomenal. I feel like I was trying to just beeline to the end of the game, so we can have. Do that. I know. I was just like, okay, I want to get it done, and then I did one side quest, and then it like fed into the story, and then I did another side quest, and now I'm about 25 hours into the game, and I've spent more of my time doing side quests than experiencing the main line of the story, and it's been incredible. I haven't played a game where I felt like this invested into those other aspects since The Witcher.
That's how I felt as well. Very similar. Because the side quest content is so good. And it's a disservice to yourself to skip it. I keep trying to tell people that I'm like, it's not just like some side mission that no, it explains so much about the people and the world. And I love them.
I think Guerrilla's done something like really special here. I've been trying to get my to play because like the accessibility options in this game are also insane. They have it's not a co-op mode, but it's very much or maybe I guess you can consider it a type of a co-op mode, but you can I can control the controller and then she can actually do the aiming, shooting and stuff like that. Cool. I also have turned off the highlighting because I was spamming the buttons for the bat view or whatever, the detective mode. Yeah. And so I turned that off. And so now I don't climb anything unless I like find that direction myself. And Guerrilla does such a great job of hinting where those locations are. And now I have an eye for it.
That's a really unique and interesting perspective for us too, because I think we all played it on PS5 too. So to hear that there is hope for the PS4 players, that's cool. And especially with the accessibility stuff, I'm very blessed that I haven't had to dig too much into that. So that's very interesting. I'm assuming you're going to keep plugging away in it, right?
Yeah, I'm going to keep plugging away. Definitely. I'm going to finish this game and then jump to Elden Ring.
I'm kind of the opposite. I'm waiting to finish Elden Ring so I can finally jump into Horizon.
Are you though?
Yeah, right.
That's fair.
Yeah. Have you talked about it on our View Gaming at all, that we can point people to?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do what we're playing at the end of every show. So you can very much go to the Game & Watch podcast, and then you can listen to me rant about Horizon Forbidden West.
We're going to take a quick break, give everyone a second to breathe, and then we'll come back with housekeeping. So be right back.
Welcome back to the Game Informer show. You've reached the housekeeping section of the show. This is where we tell you what's new in the world of Game Informer. We always start off housekeeping with a new podcast review. Of course, if you go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review, that really helps us out. You can also leave a rating if you're listening on Spotify mobile. This week's podcast review on Apple Podcasts comes from Dewey Valley. It's a 5-star review saying, I always listen to the newest episode as it is released and helps me get through my workday. The Alex's banter and chemistry makes a rich dialogue to listen to. I happen to find my next favorite game by listening to them. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you so much, Dewey. We appreciate that review. Seriously, it means a lot. And we've had a lot of growth lately on the podcast. And a lot of that is due to, I mean, it's all due to you listeners. Like we literally, yeah, it's literally you. We could show up and record this, but unless there's somebody, on the other end, then, it's all for naught.
Yo,
So.
I just looked officially top 5 on
Let's
the iTunes
go!
charts. Let's go. I was waiting. I was hoping.
Oh,
That's awesome. Thank you again, Dewey. We appreciate you. Weekly streams this week. Of course, every week we stream on Thursday and Friday. It's Monday right now. I have no idea what we're streaming this week. We haven't figured it out. So head over to twitch.tv/Game Informer. You can catch us streaming on Thursdays and Fridays at 2 p.m. Central. And then, of course, sometimes on Mondays, if we have time, Multiplayer Monday. When we do that, it's 9 a.m. Central. Notable YouTube videos. We've got Elden Ring everything. Elden Ring boss videos, Elden Ring beginner's guide, Elden Ring review. We've got everything Steam Deck. We've got our Steam Deck review. I tested 23 games on the Steam Deck. That video's live. A lot of stuff on the channel. Of course, there are more games coming out, more video game reviews. We are close to hitting 700,000 subscribers on the channel. So if you have a friend you think would enjoy the Game Informer YouTube channel, recommend us. That would be a huge deal. Help us cross over that big milestone as we get ready to move into the new studio. I'm very excited. Big time at the GI video front. Social media plugs. Follow everybody here. You can follow Finus at RView Gaming. You can follow Miss K-Star at K-Star1785. Follow John at John_Carson. Follow Mr. Alex Stadnick here at Studnick76. And you can follow me on Twitter at It's Van Aken. Of course, Video Gameography, all things Nintendo. And From Panel to Podcast are our other podcasts on the Game Informer Podcast Network. Go check those out. Give them a listen if you haven't. It's well worth your time, I promise you. Alex, let's get into listener emails. Take it away, sir.
Never thought you'd ask. My favorite part of the show. Listener questions, folks. This is when you can write in and ask us any questions that you want. Let's play some games, like the whole thing. Dreams, nightmares, all that kind of stuff. So I keep saying nightmares. No one sent it in. You can send in your dreams to podcast@gameinformer.com. You can also send it in through our Discord channel, which, Alex, quickly, how the heck do they get in?
By subscribing to the Game Informer Twitch channel, linking your account in your Discord app on your desktop, and then in your servers, we will appear there. You can join. It's very easy. Just make sure you're subbed on the Game Informer Twitch channel. Twitch Prime or Tier 1 sub. One time, that'll get you access. And that's how you get in.
It's a beautiful thing. Like these kind, beautiful people did. I'm excited. We have a game for the first time in a little bit, so that we're going to get to. But first, the mod is in our DMs here. Zach Pliggy over on Discord and says, "What game?" He gave me a bunch of crap because I'm going on vacation, but I'll save that for that's the exclusive part of the Discord, right? You got to be there to see it. What game are you looking forward to the most playing on the Steam Deck, and why is it Lost Ark? I could jump in on this too. I'm sure there was some jest there, right? But I'm not like. We talked about it early in the show, right? Of what would make you like for sure buy it. And I'm kind of iffy on my pre-order right now. If Lost Ark is on this thing by the time I get it, because I'm scheduled for Q2 of this year, I'm done. I'm buying it.
You have the mid-tier model pre-order or the top tier?
Mid-tier. Yep. So I got the pre-order that day. I just apparently missed the Q1 cutoff by like probably minutes, right? So we could play together. But I love Lost Ark. It's
really good. Review just dropped today. Well, today that we're recording it. So.
Yeah. And I want to play that much more than just on PC, right? So if that's there, because it's currently like totally not available on Steam Deck, according to Alex Van Aken's beautiful
doesn't
video.
open.
Yeah. So the second that's on there, that becomes almost a must-have for me because it is a Diablo experience that I wasn't anticipating falling into so much. So like if the question was asked in jest or not, I don't know, but like yes, like that elevates that even more for me on top of what we already talked about. But it feels like that's one of the most successful games in Steam's history. It feels like a no-brainer to have that thing on there, right?
Yeah, that's not what I'm looking forward to playing the most, though.
Ooh.
I think my picks would be the Hitman World of Assassination trilogy,
Oh, wow.
Dishonored, that series, and then Elden Ring. Those are the three I'm dying to play on Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Those would be the first things.
I've
Oh
heard
man,
that.
especially Hitman.
Elden Ring actually, I've heard runs pretty well. It's like 30 FPS, but like that's gonna get you going at least on the go.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get a video going. I'm gonna ask Miller to borrow that again.
Yeah,
See if
now
we can
that
get
the
those
review's
settings
over,
dialed in.
just need to test this a little bit more.
Break into
Yeah.
his house. You know where it is
Yeah,
now.
I could. I know where it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. John, did you said Elden Ring?
Oh
Right?
no. So I mean,
Final
yes, I want to play
Fantasy.
Elden Ring on there. Yes, Final Fantasy 14.
for what it's worth, I
works.
was able to boot that up.
Yeah, I heard it. I heard it's.
I could not. I didn't have access to an account, so I couldn't test it out.
Got it.
yeah.
Mine has already been. My dreams have been crushed with the Steam Deck. I was gonna buy it to play one series of games, and it's been confirmed that at least the first 3 games in that series don't work on it. So I was buying it for Trails in the Sky.
I knew it.
I'm on 2, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna wait until the Steam Deck comes out. I can have a portable version of all these games. I've been waiting for it on Switch. No one's bringing it to Switch apparently, and no one's bringing it to Steam Deck. So
is that a yet thing, or is it just like
I don't know?
I doubt it.
Yeah, it's so the licensing rights for those games are really weird because the newer games are published by NIS.
Yeah,
and
NXT did the previous.
Yeah,
ones.
so like the old games, the ones that I'm trying to play right now are kind of in limbo. So re-releases are almost non-existent, I think. It's probably something with like the resolution or like the aspect ratio that the Steam Deck runs games at that game can't hit for whatever reason. Also, just like Falcom games are a little bit wonky with controllers and PCs. So, that's what I want to play, but I'm really considering dropping my pre-order because I can't play those, which is very unfortunate. I know it's a cool piece of tech. But
Cancel mine,
you're
and then I'll take over yours.
okay, there you go. I have the high end one. I have like the $600 one. So
That's
if you want
okay.
that, great.
Yeah, let's talk.
All right, sounds
hit
good.
him up in the DMs. Kim, how about you?
I mean, I don't have a good answer for this. I would like to play Final Fantasy VI on the go, though. So
Mhm.
Yeah, Nintendo. The hell.
yeah,
Yeah.
pixel remasters, I guess. But
It
like,
looks really
I've
good.
played a lot of my stuff on the go, but 6 is one in particular that
Yeah.
gotta get that FF6 in.
There you go. Yeah, I also wouldn't mind. I have Tales of Arise on Steam that I stopped playing after like the review period. I would love to get back to that, and I think I saw that's fully verified too on Steam Deck. So, all right, on to you, sir. Do you have any choices?
I would just say like all my roguelikes. So games like Darkest Dungeon, Hades, Dead Cells, those would be my games to go like definitely jumping into if I was at a Steam Deck.
I'm back in Binding of Isaac. Let's go.
There we go. Yeah.
All right, I'm keeping my pre-order.
Yo, I'm excited. I'm gonna finally dive into Getsu Fumiden when I go on vacation here soon, which is another awesome Dead Cells like. So cool. I think we're gonna jump to great question, great answers. I think we're gonna jump to this game because I think this could be fun. So this comes from our sweet friend
Wes Bates,
the man himself.
That's to Wes.
Yeah. It says, "Hello, GI crew. I have a game for you all. It's always interesting to see alternative names for video games in other regions. And with that in mind, I put together a list of games with alternate titles outside the US. The game is simple. The host, that's me, reads the alternative title to the panel. Then the panel has to guess between the options A to C, multiple choice, to match the alternate title to the US release. There are quite a few I listed here, so feel free to pick and choose. Yada, yada, yada. Cheers and keep up the good work." Shout out to the homie Wes. So Alex, you don't have access to this, right?
I don't.
You have not seen the. Okay, good. Okay,
Nope.
so y'all can play.
I deleted the email by accident in my inbox.
Oh, did you?
It went to spam, and I was clearing it all out.
Yeah. Oh no.
I don't play games.
Yeah. Yeah. So
See ya.
I will read the alternate title and then list this out, and you can tell me what game this is. Y'all will discuss amongst yourself and let me know. So first one, Psycho Break, and the U.S. options are either A, Condemned Criminal Origins, B, The Evil Within, or C, Fear.
B.
You said C?
No, I said B. Evil
B?
Within.
Okay. So everyone.
I'm gonna trust Kim on that
Psycho
one.
Break.
Yeah, it sounds like it's close enough to like a Biohazard.
I'm going C.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow. I appreciate you, Alex. You jump on your own track, even when
Taking
it's
risks,
wrong.
you know?
Even when it's wrong.
I
it
didn't
is
say
B.
C, I said B.
Oh, I misheard.
They're right next to
Yeah.
each other. It's
You
Yeah.
misheard me, dude.
It is B. It is The Evil Within. It is Psycho Break in Japan. Kim, did you know that, or did you
Yes,
just get? Yeah.
Because I go to Tokyo Game Show for us a lot, and the year I was there, they were repping it. It was Psycho Break.
I've never heard that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one, Canis Canum Edit, and the options are Watch Dogs, Sleeping Dogs, and Bully.
What was it?
The name of the game is Canis Canum Edit.
I'm gonna say C.
C
Sleeping Dogs.
Okay, so we got a
Oh.
C and a B here. That's Watch Dogs.
What was the first option?
First one, A was Watch Dogs, B was Sleeping Dogs, and C was Bully.
You were almost going to call it Sleepy Dogs.
I
weren't
was
you?
gonna follow
Right,
WarioWare. Yeah.
I'm totally guessing on my answer, by the
I'm
way.
going with C because it sounds Greek, and that seems school-like, but Bully isn't really in a college or anything, so I'm still
Going A.
Going A. Wow, across the board. Whilst he wasn't necessarily right, the logic was sound. John, you were right. It is C for Bully. It is Latin.
Latin.
I don't know what
Excuse me,
is
Greek.
Yeah, Greek.
It's
Latin.
all Greek
yeah,
to me.
Yeah. So well done, you two. So I don't know. Do we want to score points? I think we're too deep into this now. Just remember how many got
Oh my
right.
gosh.
I'm at two.
I'm
Yeah.
leading right now. I know
Yes, it's like golf. Lowest score
Mark
wins.
it on this
Yeah.
whiteboard that people can't see because of embargo things.
Is that your Elden board?
It is my Elden board.
that.
How many rings do I have? Two. I have 2 rings.
What's next?
All right. Alex, like, let's pick it up. Number 3, Palutina's Mirror.
Uh-huh.
And the answers
Sounds like a Mario thing.
The answers are A, Myst, B, the Talos Principle, or C, Kid Icarus.
C.
John says C.
C.
I'm going Mist.
Which Kid Icarus?
I can't tell. It just says Kid Icarus.
The 3DS one? Oh, no, that's Uprising. Excuse me. That actually has a subtitle.
Yeah.
I have this hunch that Van Aken's right this time, so I'm gonna follow with Mist.
My gut said C, so I'm just gonna go with that.
All right. Well, John is on fire with Kim. Also, it is Kid Icarus.
Did Mist even release there?
Mist, I don't know. It's a good question. In Japan, I don't know.
It had to have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
eventually, right?
I
Yeah.
can't think about this now.
Yeah.
Wait. Let's make this podcast longer. Let's look it up real quick.
Yeah. Please.
For our longest podcast.
Right. No, this is nothing on the Andy McNamara years.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, those were we almost got. There was one episode we almost got or so. Number 4, Underway Captain Kinopio, and the options are Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, The Secret of Monkey Island, and Captain Commando.
The Secret of Monkey Island.
That's a
going
guess.
with Captain
What's-
Toad.
What's the name of it?
Underway! Exclamation mark. Captain. Excuse me, I'm getting emotional. Captain Kinopio.
I feel like that's Toad's name in Japanese.
I'm gonna say A. I forgot what it was, but I'm choosing it.
A.
A baby, correct. It is Captain Toad in Japan.
Why wouldn't they just call him Captain Toad?
Alex.
Not freaking Pinocchio or whatever they called him. Canopio.
I like
Obi-Wan
Pinocchio
Canopio.
better. Yeah. Oh, here's an interesting one. I'm going to drop down a little bit further. We'll do like 2 more and then we'll call it a day. So I think John is head and shoulders winning right now.
I have 4 points, but who's counting?
Yeah. It's like whose line points don't matter. The Legend of Zelda Triforce of the Gods 2. Is it A Link Between Worlds, A Link to the Past, or Link's Awakening?
A Link
Link's
Between
Awakening.
Worlds.
So we have, say again?
A Link Between Worlds.
Between Worlds.
Finesse. Okay.
I said C.
See?
Link's Awakening.
Okay. It is A Link Between Worlds.
Yeah.
In Japan. So there you go.
Yeah, they
let's-
actually sequelized that one, which is
That's interesting. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Let's see. What else do we have here? It's a Wonderful World. And your options are The World Ends With You, Another World, or Harvest Moon.
Harvest Moon.
I'm going to go with Harvest Moon. So I can get a point on the board.
I'm gonna follow the crowd. Let's go Harvard.
Okay. John?
Harvest Moon.
You're all very wrong. It's
What?
It's The World
I was
Ends
going to
With
say The
You
World's
in
in with you
Japan.
is what I said, right?
Yeah, that's what I
Again,
heard.
I'm just leading the pack here.
Harvest Moon has a game here called Harvest Moon It's a Wonderful Life. And so,
It's
I
fair.
thought-
half point.
yeah, I feel like that was to trick. Yeah, I got tricked.
Van
Yeah.
Aken, you had the email and you deleted it.
I know.
I just want to point out you had all the answers.
I'm not a cheater.
It's gone.
You know?
Sorry, guys. I shouldn't have seemed so confident there. I threw everyone
you
off.
did.
No,
I did. It was
I
my
might be a
fault.
loser, but I'm not a cheater. All right.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Last one. Let's see. This one, if Alex gets it, it's worth quintuple the points. So,
Oh, let's go. I'm actually going to try. All right. Here we go.
This is the last one. Violence Killer. Is it Manhunt 2, Turok 2, or Splatterhouse?
Ooh.
I'm
Going
going
with A.
Manhunt
I'm
2.
going C. I'm going Splatterhouse.
I'm gonna go Splatterhouse. too.
I'm going Splatterhouse. I mean A. I mean
You still got it wrong. It's Turok. Turok 2
Turok?
in Japan.
Violence Killer?
Violence Killer. Yeah. According to Wes Bates, I'd have to fact
I trust
check him,
Wes.
but
I trust
I
him.
trust Wes. Yeah. Yeah. So
I
there you
don't-
go.
I
No,
don't
way
trust him
cooler
at
name
all.
than Turok 2.
Yeah.
He's not even a dinosaur hunter anymore.
I'm done with this stupid show.
It sounds like
Sinners
triangle
in their own
strategy.
hearts.
Yeah, right?
I'm so mad. I look so dumb right
Violent
now.
Killer.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's okay.
0 points. Why does he even work at Game Informer? I could have his job. I'm just waiting for the comments. All right?
Is that an
Thanks a
offer?
lot, Wes.
This is
Thanks,
why he's a
man.
video guy.
Hey, man. You do have
Thanks,
the better
man.
to edit this whole thing out. Just so I'm not saying you
Yeah, I'm
have to.
cutting the
you know?
whole segment.
Yeah.
Just leave that part in where you just said that you're cutting the whole segment.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Let's say goodbye, shall we? This has been
Let's say goodbye.
a fantastic episode. Finesse, last time plug away whatever you want. Yeah, the time is yours. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for your generous donation. But let people know again where they can find you, what you're excited about on our View Gaming.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So first off, thank you so much everyone for having me on the show. It means so much to me being here. Yeah, in terms of plugs, Our View Gaming is my channel. We very much are self-sufficient and we pay for everything. So donate at patreon.com/OurViewGaming and watch the Game & Watch podcast. Great content, great opinions. Yeah, thank you so much. I thank you for everything.
Yeah, no, thank you. This was a fantastic episode, and you were a big part of that. So, thank you for please, GI community, go support them and Our Viewing Gaming. We thank you so much. if I said to you I thought I'd be a host of a top 5 video game podcast, I would have said, "Yep, that's my college podcast." Of course, that's the one that took off.
That's the one.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. Genuinely, this means the world to us. We work hard on this every week, and I'm glad what we're doing is resonating with y'all. So thank you so much. If you want to support us, those iTunes subscriptions help a ton. Those 5-star reviews help a ton. So thank you. Be good to one another, and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.